Hey y'all, and welcome back to the Javiary. I am just getting some bird work done this morning and thought I'd drop in and kind of update y'all on where the aviary is. And the short answer is we are not doing much yet, but we are going to be soon. If you take a look, we are mostly done with our molts. Got some good looking birds. Still got Spice Finch needs a little work, but for the most part we are done with our molts, and that means we are getting ready to start the breeding season. So today we'll talk about preparing for the breeding season and what that requires. Okay, so like I said, we're going to talk about getting ready for the breeding season. And I'm going to try to make this video pretty simple and straightforward. So we've done a ton of podcast episodes on getting birds in a breeding condition. I've done videos on that, so go back. There's a playlist at the bottom of my page that would explain all this in much more detail if you're looking for more detail. But basically, the things that I'm looking to do right now for the aviary are to, one, get my birds in a breeding condition, two, make sure I have all the right equipment for breeding, and three, make sure that the climate and temperatures and everything line up for where I need the birds to be. All those things are pretty straightforward things, but they do take some effort on your part, with the exception of maybe your society and your zebra finches that are just willing to breed all the time. But if you want to breed birds like Gouldians or Borks or most of your finches, even most of your big hookbills or your small hookbills, you're going to need, you're going to need to have birds in breeding condition. The other thing you're going to worry about is your lighting. Obviously above me right now I have some non-natural lighting. Even here on the inside part of the aviary I have some special bulbs and you can buy them online, but they are actually for growing plants indoors, like hydroponics and things like that. But I use them for simulating actual sunlight, so my birds are getting proper UV even if they stay inside like all these birds do. The other big part of that is temperature. I've got heaters in here. I'm trying to keep the birds at around 70 degrees Fahrenheit or warmer during the day, because we're trying to get spring, right? We're trying to get more light. We're trying to get spring. Those are two big things that influence the birds to think, hey, maybe it's time to start breeding. Longer days, higher temps, spring is here. The other thing that I'm doing is I'm starting to increase that egg food intake. So we've gone from, during the molting season, I'll go egg food only 3 times a week, and that egg food is less high in protein and higher in kelp and other supplements for feather growth. Now we're going to transition to higher protein, really start getting the birds ready for breeding, and here pretty shortly I'll start feeding live food as well. I get asked about that all the time. I feed mealworms, and then occasionally like wingless fruit flies, and then of course with it being an outdoor aviary, whatever bugs get in tend to get eaten. So those are really the main things. If you're doing all those things and you have confirmed pairs, then you should be set for breeding season. If you're thinking, man, I don't have supplies or stuff for that, well, we're sponsored by New Zealand, and their section of the website for birds is called the Perchville, and this is actually a Bird Brains perch box. So this is the perch box specifically for our podcast and for finches. So it's like a monthly subscription box. You get different stuff. First of all, packing material is great, nesting material. They also have stuff like this preview. Coconut fiber nesting material is great. Things like cuttlebone holders, actual cuttlebone, a little perch block, which is really cool, seed, medication, all those things. And then they have what are called add-ons. So you can also add or order just separately, preview perch box or nest boxes. These would be great for some of your larger finches or like Borks. Super cleanable, come with all the equipment in there. And then the woven nests, which a lot of birds, especially your Asian and African species, are going to love woven nests like this. This is a great, really well made. Sometimes you find cheap versions of this on Amazon and they kind of fall apart. These ones are really well made. And they have other cool ones too, which like this one, which is again good size, almost as big as my head, but birds are gonna have a field day tearing this off, putting this all together. Really cool stuff. So cuddle bomb holders, all kinds of stuff, but also everything you need. So all your nutrients, all the egg food ingredients minus actual eggs. I believe they're talking about getting mealworms on there, and then all your medications. This is the time of year where I run medications prior to breeding. Medications that I run are your Ranivet S, which is a anti-protozoal medication. So it does canker and some other things. It's listed on there, a bunch of words I can't pronounce, but this is really, really mild also, so you can feed this with chicks in the nest, but most of the protozoal illnesses are transferred from parents to the young. So right before breeding season, I like to run a 1-week course of this to sort of help prevent that. And then I'll also run MoxieVet, which I don't actually have out here, but it's a dewormer. And then I want to make sure everybody gets scatted, which I've already done and I talked about in my previous videos. But the big things you want to prevent the protozoal stuff, you want to prevent any kind of worms, and you want to prevent air sac mites from transferring from the parents to the young. Those are very important. But other than that, this time of the year can be a little frustrating because you're like, man, I just want to breed. I just want to let the birds do what they want to do. I always recommend wait a little longer than you think you need to. Use this time to get prepared, put in medications, make sure you have enough nest boxes. Good rule of thumb is 2 nest boxes per pair at least. I actually tend to go a little higher than that, 2.5 or so per pair. That helps prevent fighting and issues where you have one pair trying to build a nest and the other pair is trying to tear it out for their nest. And then plenty of nesting material. Talking about huge quantities throughout my breeding season. I probably go through, if you took like a 5-gallon bucket, I probably get through 10 or 12 5-gallon buckets in a breeding season. And I'll elaborate on that in future videos. We've also got some surprises coming up. I've got a species coming in this week that I have never worked with before. Very, very excited to work with. As well as have some target species, some goals for this year. So if you have any questions, jump down in the comments, ask me whatever questions. Head over to New Zealand, use code BirdBrains for 10% off. And then also Instagram, great way to reach me. I'm also on Reddit. I'm also on Facebook. So shoot me a DM, ask me a question. I will answer it. I'll be happy to answer it. I like answering them. So don't hesitate to reach out. We are here, both Chris and I. If you have any questions, you hear that female canary singing behind me, pretty cool. If you have any questions, concerns, thoughts, comments, reach out, let me know. Besides that, keep this one pretty short. Thanks, Flock, for following along with me, and I'm excited for the breeding season.
Birds in the sky keeping me down. They won't let me inside of their town. How I wish I could be one of them. How I wish I could be one of them.